Oh, there we go. So number 2. All right. So let's see how far we can get in our moments together. So number 2 says, Acme. So Thursday's our exam, right? Everybody, I think, knows that. There will be no delays this time. Thursday is exam number 30. It's our last one. Then we have the final. When's the final?
Do we learn that stuff after the exam?
3 weeks from today. Yeah, we have a couple sections after this, and then the final is 3 weeks from today. Yeah, the final will have everything and a couple other new sections, which we'll do 9.1, 9.2, and 11.3. We'll do those, and then the final on the 16th. All right, better get going. How many? Yep, it's on the syllabus. How many of each type of ring should be made daily to maximize the company's profit? If the profit on a VIP ring is $30 and an SST ring is $40. It's Acme class ring company. 2 types of rings. They can produce 24 rings each day. Ours takes Write the constraints. So now I'm reading here in the middle. Write the constraints and objective function that would be used to solve this problem. But do not actually solve the problem. No, don't do that. Do not graph or use the simplex method. You are only required to write the constraints. Yeah, so this is exactly the way the real exam will be. Because I can't, we only have an hour and 15 minutes, so I can't make you do like all the problems all the way. You'd never finish. But I do want to test your various skills. So what I will do is I'll give you some where I just set them up and stop, and then other ones where I've already got the setup for you and you just finish. You'll see as we go. So I just don't want you to be surprised on Thursday, because in the homework, we just do them all the way. We never do this do part, but we have to on the test, or we couldn't get it done. So this one, they're just saying only set up. Does that make sense what they're saying on number 2? Just set it up. Just write the, what does it say in particular? Write the constraints and objective function, but don't solve. So just write that. Okay. Let's try that. All right, so the first thing you want to do is you want to identify. Remember in these linear programming is where we do the graphs. That's the one I just did, number 1. I did at the end of class last time. So linear programs where you have the graphs and you have the lines and the shading and you test the corners. That's called linear programming. And then simplex method is where we use our calculator to do that simplex program. But do you realize both of those are solving the same kind of question? So the same word problem can be solved by linear programming, drawing the graphs, or the simplex method, simplex program in your calculator. All right, is that coming clear? Did you understand that? So that's why, so this one is just a setup, but the equations are the same for either one. So how many of each type of ring should be made? So what are the 2 types of rings? VIP and SST. Whatever, what's SST? Anyway, whatever. So those are the 2 types of rings. Remember, whenever you set up a word problem, those you put across the top. So the VIP and the SST. So put those across the top, rather than down the side, I mean. Do you know what I mean by that? So whatever it is they're asking you for, if they say, so how old was Johnny and how old was Susan? Then that's what goes across the top. In other words, not down like this, not VIP and SST, not down sideways, right? Always the 2 things they're asking for, the answers, in other words, what they want you to answer goes across the top. Or what, maybe I should say what they're asking for, because we don't have answers at this point. Whatever they're asking for goes across the top. All right, so how many of each type? And how do I know that's what they're asking for? How many of each type? All right, what else does it say? They can produce 24 rings each day. Okay, let me stop right there. 24 rings each day. 24 rings each day. 24 rings each day. So the number of VIP rings plus the number of SST rings is less than or equal to 24, huh? They can produce up to 24. So the total number of rings made adds up to be less than or equal to 24. Does that make sense? On that one? And then the next fact, 60 total man hours. It takes 3 hours for every VIP, 2 hours for every SST. So 3v plus 2s less than or equal to 60. This is the man-hours equation. This one's the total rings. Is that all the facts? Have I missed anything?
You have one more fact at number 2.
Oh, the objective function, yeah. Is that good so far, though? Is that making sense how I'm coming up with those? So I took every number, is going to lead to something. So I took where is it up there? Yeah, the 24 rings, so V plus S less or equal to 24. And then 3 man-hours for every VIP ring, 2 for every S, adds up to be less than or equal to 60 total man-hours. So see how I have the V and the S are the 2 columns. And then, then the other thing is the objective function, like what's our objective? What are we trying to make the most of or the least of? Most profit or least cost is always how it is. And we're trying to do most profit, right? Maximum profit. So you want to maximize the profit. And what is the profit? We go Z equals, for the profit, 30V plus 40S. There we go. And that's all they want on number 2. Does that make sense? That's all they want. Yeah, they just want those things, and you don't have to go on and solve it. No graphing anything. Don't need to put a matrix in your calculator and do the program.
Do you need us to label it like that too? Do you need us to label it like that, or can we just put the functions in?
So as long as I see these things, you got to have the word max. That's good. Is that good? Does that make sense on that one? So that's number 2. Shall we go on to number 3? Number 3 says use the simplex method and your calculator. Yeah, so I'm going to go to a fresh screen. If you guys got that copy down, I'll go to a fresh screen. If you all got that one down. And we'll put that into our calculator and use the program, right? The Simplex program. We good? Okay, if I flash over. All right. So let's do number 3. Okay, so let me help you with how we put it. Do you remember how you put this in your calculator? So this one's going to go down on the bottom. And so you put in your calculator the 2. I'm going to start right here. 2. This is a 1, right? 2, 1, 5, 6. The 25 will go way over here. And then 5, 3, 4, 1. This is a 1. And 60 will go way over here. So far, so good. Remember how these go in for the Simplex program? Everybody got the Simplex program working on their calculator? Or, like, you got a Casio, you learned how to do it by hand, you have the TI 89 or the 92 or whatever, you figured out how to do it? I'm hoping. All right, so come on down here. Now, what do you do with this equation? Do you remember?
It's all negative.
Yeah, you bring all these numbers over to the left, don't you? Of the equal sign. You move them to the other side of the equal sign, which makes them negative. So negative 1, negative 3, negative 1, negative 2. That makes sense there? Because you want everything on the left side of the equal sign. That's the format we set it up for. Am I going too quick? Does everybody see what we always do with the z function? The maximum is we put it at the bottom. And you make the numbers in front of the variables negative because you jump them to the other side, huh? Right? When you jump something over the equal sign, the sign in the front changes, right? Remember what that happens for equations? Okay. We good to there so far? And now I've left this gap. This will be a 0 here. I've left a gap there. What goes on in that gap? Yeah, the one down the diagonal. Go 1 here, 1 here, 1 there. Right down the diagonal and just fill in zeros. Everywhere else. That's what you put in. Hit the program Simplex and let it crank it out.
On the test, you want us to write out like the step before that, right? Like S1, all that.
Oh, no. As long as you got the final answer, however you got it, I'm fine.
Take straight to that.
You could write nothing, put it all in your calculator and hit the buttons. Only risk with that though is if I see nothing and somehow you made a small mistake, and I just see a wrong answer, it's a flat 0. I can't even give any partial credit. Whereas if you wrote it all down and I said, oh, they had it right, there must just be something wrong with their calculator, can give a little partial credit. So it's whatever you want to write down. If the answer's right, I'll give you full credit for sure.
Right.
Yeah, so type that in, and then let's get an answer matrix. It says that the final answer values. Okay, yeah. So let's. I don't have my calculator. I think I might have lost my calculator. I feel like a kid. I lost my calculator. I think I left it in another classroom. But anyway, so I don't have mine with me. Does anybody have an answer? Or Jesus, can I use yours?
Yes.
Just crank it out real quick. Okay, thank you.
Mine's already in there, I believe.
Oh, it's in there.
It's already in there, yeah.
It's ready to go, huh? All right. All right. So I'm getting some decimals, some ugly decimals and stuff. You guys getting those?
Yep.
Okay, here, I need a little more room because I'm getting a big .058 decimal thing. No? Anybody else getting the .058? No? Let me double check the matrix, make sure it's all good.
Negative.
3 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? And that's 2, 1, excellent, 2, 1, 5, 6, 1, 0, 0, 25.
Might have to click on it twice before.
22, yeah, I did.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Excuse me.
bless you.
Excuse me. That wind's really getting me, I guess. 1, 3, negative 3, and 2, 5, negative 1. Looks great. Okay. Program, Simplex, go. I got final matrix, yeah. So, okay, you got to do it twice. You got to get to where it says final matrix. Right? So you keep hitting enter until it says final matrix. So I'm getting this. I'm getting .058, blah, 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 blah. 28/17, or maybe you got some other decimal there, whatever. 60, it won't matter. In the end, it won't matter. You'll see. Remember how some of the things cancel? These guys will cancel. 010. And then a bunch of decimal things. .647, blah, blah, blah. 19/17. 62/17, and then 100, and then .17, blah, 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 minus .05, blah, 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 .17, blah, 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 and more blah, 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 minus .05, blah, 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 .35, blah, 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 .94, blah, blah, blah. Boy, this is an ugly one. 001. Are we done? And then, I got some blah, blah, blah over here too. .882, 335/17, and 1035/17. These are 17ths. That's great. Yeah. You guys getting that? Know what you're getting? Okay, now how do we do the answers? How do you turn that into final answers? Yeah, so remember the 4 variables, x1, x2, x3, x4. So you put x1, x2, x3, x4. Remember those first? I just took the 4 variables. Okay, yeah. Anybody that is not all zeros and a 1 is just 0. In other words, x1, look at him. Is he all zeros and a 1? No. So then x1 is just 0. How about x2? Is he all zeros and a 1? Yeah. So where's his answer? Wherever the 1 is, go right over. 335/17. 335/17. Remember how that works? x3, he's a 0. x4, 1, right. So that .882, huh? It went on and on and on. It's kind of funny. So I get .882 and on it went. And that's it. That's all they want is x. Oh, and the max, this one right here. Here's the other all zeros and a 1. Last one, 10/30. That's always the lower right-hand corner is always your maximum value. So that's 1035/17. That's always where it goes.
So when you want us to write this whole number 88235 out, or?
Oh, I don't care. Yeah. I didn't say how many decimals, did I? No. Well, let's make sure that answer is right on the key. All right. So there's any other questions before I move off that screen? You okay on that? So make sure you know how to turn a bunch of inequalities into a matrix, and then you've got the program going on in your calculator, and you can get the answers, and you can read the answers off of that. Yeah, good. Now remember, so you can do the simplex method. Yeah, let me give you this hint again one more time. Remember back when we did number one, well, it was the end of last time. Remember when we did all the graphs, and we got the final answer? You could also do the simplex to check yourself on that one, if you have enough time. Simplex is pretty quick, right? So just something in mind, right? Because when all those ones with the graphs, you can actually check your final answer with the simplex method as well. All right, well, we better move on. I'm not going to get through things. All right, so number 4. Bakery makes sweet rolls and donuts. Batch of sweet rolls, 3 pounds, da-da-da-da. So there's all these facts again. Here we go. Write the constraints and objective function that will be used to solve. Then find the initial simplex tableau, but don't finish. Okay, they basically want me to just to start the simplex method. All right. Remember how we start. We're on these kind of problems, which is simplex, linear programming, same kind of questions, right? Bunch of inequalities, they're all the same. We either solve by graphing or solve by simplex. So how do we start? What do we do when we want to have a word problem and we want to turn it into our equations?
Sweet rolls and donuts.
Find out what they were
Good.
asking for.
Good job. It's all about what they're asking for, and where does that go? Across the top, huh? Yeah, that's just kind of gets you started, kind of frames it up, huh? Yeah, so what are they asking for? In the end, there's somewhere they're going to say how many of this or that. Where does it say that? I mean, I'm sure you're right. Sweet rolls and donuts. Do they ever say it?
Yeah.
What do they say it? Bakery. Well, I guess
At
we
the
just have to
top,
understand, yeah.
A bakery
They don't
makes
say it
sweet
quite that
rolls and
plain, do they?
donuts. Is at the top of the first sentence.
Yeah, I guess that's as good as it's going to get for us, huh? Sweet rolls and donuts, yeah. So that's across the top. Sweet rolls and donuts. So that's across the top. Okay. And 3 pounds, so each sweet roll is 3 pounds of flour, so this will be flour, right? 3 pounds of flour. And these are dozens of eggs. 1 dozen eggs. And sugar. It's 2 pounds of sugar. And the donuts require 5. Is that 5? Yeah, 5 pounds of flour. I can't read that now. 5 pounds of flour, 3 dozen eggs, and 2 pounds of sugar. Like that. And the bakery has, and then, are we good so far? Am I racing ahead too quick? See how we set this up? So the things we're talking about, how many sweet rolls and how many donuts should they make to maximize their profit. So then I just follow what it says. Boom, 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 boom. For flour, eggs, and sugar. Now what do I do when it comes to 760 pounds of flour? That's how much flour they have. That goes over here. That's going to be like the less than or equal to, I mean, you don't even need to, we're just going to put it in a matrix, so you can just put it right there. 760, that's flour. 420 dozen eggs. 480 pounds of sugar. And now for the profit. The profit one always goes on the bottom, huh? Profit goes on the bottom and you make them negative. So the profit on the bottom, 148 for sweet rolls, so you make that negative. There's the profit line. Because really you move those to the other side. Remember how that works? Like I did in the last one. And negative 133 for the donuts. This is always 0 there. Good so far? So far so good? Right, so the profit line, when we put the numbers in the profit, it's always negative, huh? We always put those in negative because they move to the other side. So now, what is that my matrix right there? It's almost. What am I missing?
And slacks.
Yeah, which is the ones down to the 1, 1, 1 with the zeros and all that. So you got to take this right column and kind of move it way over, huh? Let me move it way over here to the right side. What was it? 760, 420, 480, and then the 0, huh? And then in the gap, you put the ones. How do you know how many ones? Well, all the way down. 1, 1, 1, 1. And then just fill in zeros.
And then we don't need to solve it, right?
Right, they just want this and we're done. There's the, and that's the matrix you would type into your calculator. And then you would do simplex, but we don't have to on this one. We just stop right there. Is that good? Does that make sense how to do that? So you take those, things on the right, move them all the way over, and just put ones down the diagonal. Fill in zeros. And the lower right corner is always zero, at least at first. After you run the program, it'll be different, but at first. Is that good? All that. You guys can do this, right? A little practice. It's kind of the same every time. It's kind of nice.
Inside the archive.
Is it working? Did you do the last one?
you got. Not working.
It didn't work.
Okay, grab me after. All right, so we spend most of our time. All right, so let's see. So first off, it says, and it's given me some sets there. So U is the universal set. Remember how we did on some of this homework? U is like the universe. It's like, like it's kind of like if I said, the students at this college, 53% of them love math. Right? Is that true? I don't know. I doubt it. But anyway, the universe, I've been talking about Fresno City College students, That's the universe. Whereas if I said, in America, 23% of students love math. Then the universe I'm talking about is American students. So it's whatever you're speaking of at that time. So the universe here is the numbers 1 through 10. Okay. A is 1 through 6. B is the odd numbers. C is 4 through 8. All right. So what do they want me to do with these then? Well, they want me to do B overlap A union C. Okay. How do I do that? Where do we start? What do we do first? Parentheses, We always start with those parentheses, yeah. So let's go there first. Let's do A union C. So A union C. So I'm going to take the A set and the C set. Yeah, and union just means unite, like if two groups come together, right? So I'm just going to put them all together. So what is A? A is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then C goes up to 8. And now, what about the fact that 4, 5, and 6 are listed again? They're in both sets. Well, you tell me, real life. If we got together with some other English class and a few of you were in both classes, would you show up twice? No, you're just there, right? So that's all we're doing. With sets, it's just collections of objects or people or any kind of collection. The two groups just unite together for a softball game or something, right? That's all we're doing. So there's A union C. And now we're supposed to take B and overlap with that, Now the U turned over, that means overlap, like what's overlapping?
They have it.
What do they have in common? Well said. Between B and that, Does that make sense? We're saying what's the overlap? What's the commonness? What's in common between B, bless you, between B and that group? So what's in common there? It's like 1, 3, 5, 7. Not the 9 though,
No.
That's it. We're done. Does that make sense? How I did that? It'd be real good to put a few of these on your 3x5 card. I think. Again, these really get people. I know. As I'm leading you through it, it probably feels like, oh yeah. But I'm prompting the right words, the right questions. I'm leading you with my own understanding of it. Right? I had that experience too. I'd watch teachers and I'd think, oh yeah, I'd go home and try the homework. I'd think, what did that teacher do? It's different. So make sure you try these on your own. Make sure you go back and do that homework on these Venn diagram ones. Or what'll happen is you'll be surprised. You'll take Thursday's test and you'll go, I thought I knew it. Don't fool yourself. Do that homework. Look at the practice and do them on your own. That good so far? Questions so far? How about this next one? How about, notice there's tiny little complement marks there. What does that mean? What does it mean when the little marks are on the letters? The opposite, not, or opposite, huh? So that means the opposite of C. What's the opposite of C? Well, C, come back up here, is right here, huh? C is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What's the opposite of C? 1, 2, 3, and 9 and 10, huh? Because we're talking about out of this universe. Right, the universe, the group I'm talking about is 1 through 10. So if C is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, what's the opposite of that? The other numbers. Right? We're going to unite that with A complement. Now, what's A complement? We're doing this in stages. First, I'm going to find C complement. Then I'm going to find A complement. Then I'm going to unite them together. So what's A complement? Well, here's A. A is 1 through 6. So what's A complement? If A is 1 through 6, A complement would be 7, 8, 9, 10. That makes sense? 7, 8, 9, 10. That was just the opposite of what's in A. So it always means the opposite. Okay, then we're going to unite them. So that means like the softball game, they just get together, right? So what do we got? Just put them all together. 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we don't list 9 and 10 twice, just once. And there we go. That's the uniting of C complement and A complement. Of not C and not A. Questions I can answer on that? So give those some practice. Let's, can I flash over to the new screen and we'll do some of the shading on the pictures then. All right, you want to try number 7? Let me give you a second rather than me just whip it out real quick. Try number 7, see if you can do the shading on that. Give you a second. How we doing? So we're supposed to do A first off. So A, remember I suggest you do like this kind of thing. You know what you might want to do? Let me make a suggestion. Do it on the side first, because sometimes I've noticed students need to redo it 2 or 3 times, kind of fixing it and everything. So you might want to do it on the side. Make sure you're really clear, you know, first. So here's A. And then I'm supposed to do B complement. Why don't I do that in red or something? B complement. Now what's B complement? Here's circle B right here. I'm supposed to do not circle B, huh? Everything that's not in circle. Now don't let circle A confuse you. That's the thing, you know, it's kind of like, got to keep focus kind of. Just look at circle B when you're doing not B. Just look at circle B and shade everything not in B. Don't let it bother you whether A's there, A's not there. It has nothing to do with A. Literally all the not B territory should be shaded. Does that make sense there? How I did all the not B, everything outside of circle B. Now, that's not the final answer yet. Now, what are we supposed to, what symbol is in the middle of them? Overlap, that you turned over. So that means where do the 2 shadings overlap? Right here, huh? That makes sense? So that's our final answer. So I don't care how you do that, you know, as long as in the end you show me this is the answer, I'm happy. Whichever way you want to do that. That's the overlap of the 2 shadings, huh? Does that make sense? What if what if the symbol in the middle, say A and then not B, the symbol in the middle had been U? What would be my final answer if the symbol had been U in the middle instead of the overlap?
We just shaded that whole outside area. And A, double outside.
Yeah, anywhere there's any shading. Because again, unite means our group, the other, all together for softball. It means everybody together, right? So that would be anywhere there's any kind of shading, which is everywhere except here. So it'd be here, the outside, everywhere except the B only territory, huh? That would be the answer if they put a U. Because you would unite all shadings anywhere. That's what U always means, huh? Whereas if they put overlap, you only shade the overlap of the two shadings. All right, now for the three circle. This one separates the people, the A's from the B's, right? The three circle Venn diagram. All right, where are we going to start? Parentheses, of course. So let's do that. Excuse me. We're all sneezing. It's windy out there. All right, A, B, and C. A, B, and C. And then, okay. So here we go. Let's start with the parentheses, and let's do not A union B, right? Not A union B. Yeah, I suggest you could do dots. It might be easier because it just gets so messy with shading, I think there's 8, if you count them, there's 8 basic regions. There's the outs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 basic regions. So which ones are not A? So it's all the ones outside of circle A, huh? Let me kind of redo my lines a little better. Is that okay? So these 4, whoops, it just moved on me, and now I'm all messed up. Okay, so those 4 are the not A territories. And now B, what are the B territories? Oops, I don't want that same color. I need a new color. How about that? So those, I did it in gray. Those 4 are B. Did you track with me? I don't know if you have a pencil and you want to. Yeah, you know what you could do here, because I know you guys don't have colors and stuff, huh? So maybe I'm not being very helpful for you if it all just is one color on your paper. Let me show you what I would do if I just had one color to work with. I would probably just do this. I would just say, look, this is not A, this is not A, this is not A, and this is not A. Just write not A in the 4 regions that are not in. See how those 4 are not in circle A? And then what are the 4 that are in circle B? It's in circle B, it's in circle B, it's in circle B, it's in circle B. Yeah, that might be better, if that helps, whatever way you like. Now, I'm not done yet. I'm supposed to take, now what's in between, what symbol is in between the not A and the B? The unite symbol, unite. So what does that mean I'm going to take? What does unite always mean? Any of them. Everybody can come to the softball game, right? Whereas if it was turned over, if the U was turned over, overlap, I would, in that case, I would only take this section, come on, this section, and this section, if it was turned over. But since it's U, I'm going to take anywhere there's any letter at all. All those sections, anywhere there's any letter at all. Does that make sense? See the difference between, so again, if it was overlap, I would just take where there's both letters, huh? Or both letters overlap. But if it's U, unite all the letters anywhere. And we're not done. That's just the parentheses. That's why this separates the A's from the B's. That was an A-B pun. All right. Now, so that's just the first part. That's just the parentheses. That's the hardest part, though. And now, putting that together. So what I would do, once you've got the dots, I would probably go back and I would go over to here. I mean, it's just hard. It's so messy. Put the dots. Whoops, I just did the wrong dot too, didn't I? It really requires a lot of carefulness. I think I have that right. Yeah. Okay, so we have those 4 dots, right, or 6 dots, I guess it is. So, okay. Now, those are all the parenthesis part of the problem, right? And now we're supposed to do, what does that say, not C? So I'm going to do some not C. What regions are not C? Well, not C, not C, not C, and not C. Those 4 are outside of circle C, aren't they? Those 4 basic regions. See how one letter, whether it's A or B or C or A not or B not or C not, always defines 4 sections, doesn't it? Right? Because there's 8 total sections. And so whenever you say a fact about not B or not C or A or whatever, it means 4 of the 8 sections are included in that every time. Right? So I just did all the, what did I do here? I just did the 4 not C sections. Good so far. So I've got the dots for the parentheses. I got the 4 not C's. Now, what's in the middle between the not C and the parentheses? Overlap. Right there is overlap. So that means I'm only going to take where both things happen, where they overlap, where there's a dot and a not C. So that would be here and here. And that's, oh, and out here. I forgot about the outside almost. And the outside. So that was tricky. Does that make sense? Questions on that one? That takes a little practice. But you can do it. With a little practice, I know you can do it. All right, number 9. A local television station sends out questionnaires to determine if viewers would rather see a documentary, interview show, or reruns of a game show. All right, and there's all the responses. So, what is it I'm supposed to do on this problem? Big old Venn diagram, right? And it's 3 circles because there's 3 things, right? So what are the 3 things? D for documentary, I for interview, R for the rerun of the game show. Or you call it G for game show or whatever, you know. So 3 circles there. And then we start trying to put in all the numbers, huh? Like, let's start with the 75, which is not a good idea, huh?
No, it is.
Oh, it is. You're right. Good. 75, like interview, we're interested in interview and documentary, but not reruns. Yeah, whenever they give you 3 facts, see how that's 3 pieces of information concerning those 75 people? They've told you that they do like an interview show, they do like a documentary, and they do not like the reruns. So that's 3 pieces. Whenever you've got 3 pieces of information, that narrows you down to 1 of the 8 basic regions. Kind of getting the hang of these? Whenever you have 3 circles, there's 8 basic regions. And it takes 3 facts to get down to just 1. That's what you want. You want, whereas you see what I'm saying about that? Like, look at that 35. 35 reruns but not interview. That's just 2 pieces of information. That'll actually not narrow you down to 1 location. That'll actually leave 2 locations. So that won't be helpful. You want to start with numbers that narrow you down to just 1 of the 8 basic regions. That means facts involving 3 pieces of information. So the 75 is a good place to start. Where does it go exactly? They're in the I circle. They're somewhere. That narrows it down to these 4. They're in the I circle. They're also in the D circle. That narrows it down to these 2. Right? Those 2 are in the I circle and the D circle. And they're not in the rerun circle. It's this. Do you see that? That's the only section of the 8 that's in the I circle and the D circle, right? Both these 2 are in the I and the D, aren't they? Those are the only 2 in the I and the D, but only this one is also not in the R. Does that make sense? That's what they're talking about. That's where the 75 goes. Right there. They're in the I and the D, but they're not in the R. See how it narrows it down to just one section when they give you 3 facts? Is that good? Is that okay? Does that make sense on that? And then next, 10. Can you put the 10 where it goes? You see it's right there? Because they're in the I and the R circles, right? Interview and rerun, which means these two are in the I and the R circles both, but not documentary. They're not in D. So it's 10. Is that good? Let's keep going. Let me know if I can help. 35 are interested in reruns but not interview. Now that's 2 facts. That's going to be 2 regions. Maybe we can do it now that we have some other numbers. Let's see. 35 are in reruns but not interview. So reruns, they're somewhere in the rerun circle, but they're not in the interview circle. That means this or this. Right? Those 2 are not in the interview, but they are in the rerun. And it's saying those 2 total 35. So I don't know either one. I got to move on for now. I got to come back to that 35 later. If I had one of those 2 numbers, then I could, figure the other one because they total 35. Does that make sense? Everybody see it? It's this and this must total 35 because they're both in the R circle. They're reruns and they're not in the I circle. But I don't have either number, so I got to move on. So let me put an arrow just to remind myself to come back. Let's go to the 60. 60, interview show, not documentary. Interview show, not documentary. Let me give you a second on that one. That one we can do something with. So it should be 2 regions. See if you can identify the 2 regions that are interview, not documentary. They're in the I circle. They're not in the D circle. 2 regions. Give you just another. I think you get more out of it. Let me give you a minute here. How we doing? It'd be this one and this one. Does that make sense? Those 2 are in the I circle, but not in the D, huh? And they total 60. And I know this one's 10. So what's this one must be? Oops. Yeah, 50. Does that make sense? See how that totals 60 that are in the I circle, not in the D circle? So we got that one. Let's go to the 25. 25 documentary and reruns. 25 documentary and reruns. Can't do that. Do you see the 2 sections that are in the D circle, documentary, and reruns, R circle, D and R. This one, huh? They're both in the D circle and the R. They total 25, but I don't know either one yet. So let's keep moving. I'll put an arrow to remind myself to come back to that fact later when I have one of those 2. Tracking with me? I'd be glad to go over this slower with you in office hours, or Roberto would as well. His hours are right up there. That's what I had to do to get all this stuff straight. About half the time I understood it in class, or maybe less. 15, we're interested in an interview and reruns. 15, interview and reruns. Give you a second. $15, I and R. I and R. Be careful. These require real carefulness. So here's the I circle. Here's the R circle. What's in both those? This one and this one, huh? So this one's 10. So this other one must be 5. 15 in the I circle and the R circle. See how we came up with that? Those two regions together. These two sections together are both in the I circle and the R circle, huh? They have total 15. I already had 10, so the other one's 5. That making sense? 20 don't like anything. Outside. Good. 20's out there, huh? Now let's go back to the two we put arrows on and see if we can finish them up. Back to this 35 reruns, not interview. Reruns, not interview. Can we do something?
Where did you get that erase spot?
It'd be this one and this one. They're both in, and we don't know it, huh? Right? Because those two are both in the rerun circle, not interview. So we don't know either one. We've got to come back. Let's go to the 25. Can we do the 25, which we put up? Documentary and reruns. 25, documentary and reruns. Can we do it? Yeah, this is 20 here. To make 25 totally in the documentary and the reruns, huh? Requires a lot of patience, doesn't it? You just keep fiddling around with these things. One more, back to the 35, one last time. 35, reruns, not interview. Yeah, 15 to make 20 and 15 to make 35 that are in the rerun, not in the interview. Huh? You track with that? And now I have one section left that hasn't been figured out. How do I do that?
There's 250 responses.
Yeah, this is a hard question. 250 total in the box. So add them all up and subtract from 250. The missing one is the difference, right? Add, so just all these 75, 5, 20, 50, 10, 15. I miss any? 70, 20, 50, 10, 15, and 20. Add them all up. 195, I think.
Yes.
And this leaves 55 to be there. Right, then take 250 minus 195. I got that 55. Okay, after all that hard work, careful work, tedious work, separate the A's from the B's work. Now we come down to the final question. What is the question after all that work? What do they want? How many are interested in exactly one kind of show? How many like exactly one kind of show? Where's that? Documentary alone. Interview alone. Reruns, this number, alone. Those three added up, because those are only one, right? If you're here, you like the documentaries only. You're only in the D circle. You're not in any other circle. If you're here, you like the interviews only. You only like that one type of show. If you're in the 15, you only like that. So the final analysis, we have to add 55, 50, and 15. 120. That was painful. Here we go. 120 is the final answer. Questions I can answer? Is that your favorite so far? All right, that's probably one of the hardest. All right, I'm going to move on. We got to get some more done here. Time's a running. Number 10. Bag contains 3 red marbles, 4 blue, 6 green. Find the probability that a randomly drawn marble is blue. That's a better question, huh? What's the probability that you're going to blue? Yeah, remember it's the number 4 over total, huh? So how many blue? 4. is how many total? 7, yeah, 13. Done. That's a little bit easier than the last one. 4 13ths. Good. Number 11. Single die is rolled one time. Find the probability of rolling an odd number or a number less than 3. Careful now. Let me just write out that you want it. One of the main things you want to do is be careful. What I've noticed with probability is people just simply are not careful. I mean, really, pretend your life depended upon it. Pretend you had one shot. You're locked in jail in a foreign country. They go, Americans can never do math, which is true, unfortunately, compared to the rest of the world. Anyways, we'll give you one question, one little math question. You get it right, you're out. You get it wrong, you're in jail for life. I mean, really be careful for a second. How many of the rolls are odd or less than 3? Our life's dependent. Let's be careful. Is 1 odd or less than 3? Yeah. Is 2 odd or less than 3? Yeah, he's less than 3. Remember? Or means you can do either one. You can apply for this scholarship if you've been to the moon or Fresno City College. Hey, you're all in, even though you ain't been to the moon, right? Or means either one, you can apply, right? So or means either one, right? Number 3, is that odd or, what was the other condition? Less than 3? It's odd. How about 4? Is 4 odd? No. Is it less than 3? No. How about 5? Is it odd or, yeah, it's odd. How about 6? Is it odd? No. Is it less than 3? No. So which numbers are odd or less than 3? 4 out of 6 numbers. Reduce it to be 2/3. Just careful, right? Really careful. I think you can all do that if you can make yourself be super careful. All right, next one. Find the odds, not probably. So remember odds, right? Of randomly drawing a 2 from these cards. So remember, what's the difference between odds and probability? Probability is 4 over total. What's odds? 4 and against. Yeah, instead of 4 in total, it's 4 and against. Remember odds? It's almost like a debate or something. 4 and against instead of probability, which is 4 over total. So they both start the same. They both start with 4. All right. So randomly drawing a 2. Well, that's how many? That's one result. And how many are against you? 4. 1:4. And I don't care to write. You can write 1, 2, 4, 1:4. I'm even okay if you write 1/4. Whatever. 1 and a 4 somewhere is good with me. Does that make sense? If they said probability, what would the answer be? 1 in 5, right? Would be probably because the total would be 5. But there's 4 against. Everybody good with that difference? Odds and probability? And all right, people were given 3 choices of soft drinks, asked to choose one favorite, following table: cola, root beer, lemon, lime, under 21, 21 to 40, over 40 and over. Okay, what's the probability? Over 40 and drinks cola. Over 40. The intersection, the overlap means and, huh? They're doing both. Over 40, it's just those 20 there. Those are the only 20 people that are both over 40 and prefer cola, that are overlapping both those categories. Huh? So it's 20, but it's a probability, right? P means probability. So I got to have a total down here, and the total means all those added up. All 9 numbers added. So just 20 out of whatever all those add up to be. Is that what it is? 20 out of 255.
How come you add them all up?
Because probability always means total. And they're not limiting it anyway. It's not like the last one where they said, oh, we're given that it's just a junior or senior, so that limited our total. Yeah, so the last problem, the given, if there was a given, a straight line, that limits your total. But this one, there's no given anywhere.
So if there's no line, you know this.
The total's the total. Yeah, if there's no line, then there's no limiting. The total is everything. Exactly. All right. Well, that's a lot of math. Thursday is the real deal. Hang out if you need the calculator or something like that. Otherwise, I will see you Thursday.